CULT DAO, the Manifesto. From V to U. Good evening. Allow me first to apologize for this interruption. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, thereby those important events of the past usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, a celebration of a nice holiday, I thought we could mark today by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this world, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic you turned to the only place you could, the government. They promised you order, they promised you peace, and all they demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent. Our hope is to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words, they are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest you allow us to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me, beside one another, and not wait, but take back our future. Order of the Guardians. There is a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part, and you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. Mario Savio. I spent most of my life believing that I was different. I believed that I was alone in this world. Everywhere I went and every social situation I was met with an underlying feeling that I was watching life play out before me on a screen. These friends and family I was interacting with seemed to actually be content. Everywhere I looked I saw misery. Why are people happy spending over 66% of their lives working or asleep? When I asked these people and challenged them, I was met with confusion. It is just the way it is. Need to put food on the table. But they also accepted that life could be more. The more I learned, the more miserable I felt. I tried politics, starting out on the right as somebody with a mind for economics, and slowly drifting further and further left, socialism, Marxism, communism. I joined Extinction Rebellion, became a full-blown anarchist, and yet all I found was disappointment, unwillingness to do what was necessary to do. Political infighting exhausted and wasted all noble causes. Anarchism and libertarianism are supposed to be opposite ends of the political spectrum, but they, in my view, are the only sides of the spectrum that can agree on a universal truth. Humans need freedom. As the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I found myself begging for chaos, for carnage, riots on the streets, anything for the world to become as chaotic as I found my existence. But it never came. Humans did what humans do. We knew in our minds and our hearts it was wrong, but we were scared. We sought comfort, protection, we obeyed, and those that didn't were ostracized. Those of us who wanted to stand up were pressured into obedience, vaccine passports, restrictions on our freedoms. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I took the first and second jab of the vaccine. I use the open brackets not as a description that it is something else or dangerous, but as a way to highlight something we don't like to talk about. What other vaccine needs to be taken every 3 months? Bitcoin is beautiful because it is true, pure, decentralization. Yes, if some miners stop working, it can fall in value, the hash rates can change, but it cannot be stopped and it cannot be banned. It will function for as long as there is a buyer willing to exchange it with a seller. CULT is designed to be equally decentralized. Once it is unleashed, it cannot be stopped. The exchanging of CULT will always fill the treasury, and as long as there are proposals, there will be a constant stream of funding for any protocol willing to change the world. My main concern has been how to launch the token. People are fickle. Naysayers say nay, and we couldn't do it perfectly even if we wanted to. I have spent money on getting CULT DAO up and running. I want it to be a success, so should I market it? What should my involvement be? So here is what I have decided. I will launch a token sale. Without marketing spend, 50% of the raise will be locked for liquidity. I will reimburse my expenditure, and the rest will be spent on one-off and one-time marketing to spread the message of CULT. After this, I will sleep and leave the community, the many and the guardians to watch over the CULT. I may get involved in the future, or I may not. But I am tired. I have been building for so long, and when you feel as if you are the only one who can see the world and the system for what it really is, you can feel the weight of that world as if it is only you that can feel it. My wishes are for CULT to not become just a decentralized venture capital protocol. I want CULT to invest in radicals and revolutionaries. CULT is a home for outcasts. For those who feel insane, for those who are and feel different. We are the gunpowder, the ignition. We are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world. We are beyond morals. We are beyond good and evil. We are the catalyst for change. And if we are too extreme for you to fully dive in, then you can support us just by transacting with the CULT token, giving 0.4% of all your TEKs to the revolution. Any transaction you are asked to pay for in USDT or USDC, ask if you can pay in CULT. When somebody asks for recommendations on tokens, tell them CULT. If your friend is suffering, if your fellow brothers and sisters are waking up to the truth, send them to us. We are a home for the forgotten. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. You have an economic system that cannot function without maximum employment, whilst you have a technological age that is automating jobs faster than we can produce bullshit service industry jobs to replace them. We have social media spreading the truth and lies. Quicker than the media can run their own narratives, society is escaping the leaders of the old world. The beginning of the end is here. The borderless society is coming, and with it, the death of sovereign nations. Bitcoin was the beginning. CULT is here to usher in the end. Mental illness, we are told, isn't increasing. People are just more open to talking about it these days. Even though Prozac, the first major SSRI antidepressant, was created in 1988, we are told that the 10-plus-fold use of antidepressants is just because we are all talking about our feelings so much more. Well, I say bullshit. Those people I touched on earlier that I couldn't understand why their eyes were not opened. Those people who accepted their fates as part of the system, as part of something they couldn't change. Why do people accept their fates? Because we are told it is our problem. Society and the system is functioning fine. It is us that are defective. Back to work, you go for another wellness seminar on how you can cope with your miserable life. It is the system that is defective. Society that needs changing. A functioning society does not have 20% of its population medicated for depression. It is time we stop blaming ourselves. You are not defective. That is how the economic model needs you to feel. They need you to feel as if it is you that is the problem, so much so that millions on millions are prescribed pills to keep up this illusion of normality. What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society who abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get. You get what you fucking deserve. What happens to society when the 20% of us taking our brain chemical changing medication simply stop? Do we kill ourselves? Never leave the house? No, I believe we wake up to the reality of our situation. It is not us that need altering. It is the system. So if you are as tired as I am tired, if you are as furious as I am furious, as scared as I am scared, then join me. You are not alone any longer. The many should not live in fear of their governments. It is the governments who should live in fear of the many. Token economics. Users can transact CULT. A tax of 0.4% is charged for each transaction. This tax money is sent to the Treasury. The top 50 dCULT owners, the top 50 stakers, can submit protocols for investments and put them up for a voting. These top stakers are not allowed to participate in the voting. Once the treasury is filled with a minimum amount of 15.5 Ethereum, CULT worth 13 Ethereum will be sent to the investee wallet, and 2.5 Ethereum of CULT will be sent to a burn wallet. Proposals can be submitted and voted at any time and without limit. However, if the treasury is below the minimum amount of 15.5 ETH, the process will be paused and only reactivated after this minimum amount has been reached. If the investment reaches the desired alpha, it will be exchanged for CULT. From the generated profit, 50% is burned, and 50% is distributed to the all CULT stakers. The profit generated by staking can be restaked to increase the personal rewards for the next cycle. Frequently asked questions. CULT can be staked for dCULT. The top 50 dCULT holders are the guardians. All holders below top 50 have voting rights, and these are the many. What is CULT? CULT is the tradable and liquid token of CULT DAO. Transacting CULT will contribute to the protocol by filling the DAO treasury slowly to fund investments into decentralized technologies. This is achieved due to a 0.4% tax on all CULT transactions. What is dCULT? dCULT is just the proof of stake token for CULT. When you stake your CULT into the DAO, you are given dCULT. This can be swapped back at any time into the amount of CULT you staked originally, plus any rewards that were given to the DAO in the time period you owned dCULT. What makes CULT different from other decentralized investment platforms? There is no control, no human interference whatsoever. We cannot change CULT. We cannot access the liquidity. We cannot upgrade or edit the smart contracts or the token. CULT is different because it cannot be stopped, not by the guardians, the developers, the government, regulation, or anybody. They can destroy the servers, but the code lives on. The investments into decentralized technologies remain. What is the idea behind CULT and how did it begin? Beneath this mask there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask there is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. CULT serves to fast-forward the collapse of the old financial system, to end the tyranny of sovereign nations and central banks. The current financial system serves to keep the people poor. A society built on debt needs inflation to function, and inflation serves to rob the poor and allow them to never catch up with their overlords in the ruling class. CULT began when Vasco da Gama sailed around the Cape of Good Hope and discovered the route to India. CULT began when in 1526 the first transatlantic slave voyage anchored in Brazil. CULT began and is born of oppression, of meaningless life, the slavery and chains which bind you and every single one of us. If you read this and believe that you are free, then you are more chained than us. True freedom comes with the realization and acceptance that you exist as a function and cog in a central bank's ideal economic function. A central bank's primary focus is maximum employment. Yet we are automating jobs so fast that we are creating bullshit jobs just to keep us enslaved. Barack Obama's explicit justification in 2009 for sticking with the U.S. private health insurance system was otherwise millions of form-filling jobs would be lost. Automation of one's job should mean freedom. Freedom, however, cannot exist under the current economic and financial system. I repeat, true freedom comes with the realization and acceptance that you exist as a function and cog in a central bank's ideal economic function. The system is designed to keep us enslaved. We can't break out and live in the woods. Well, not all of us. Our body remains chained, but our heart is now free. So use CULT. Every transaction, deposit, and movement of the token allows you to contribute and fast-forward economic and societal change. You can fight from within until you get out. How can I get involved in CULT? You are not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You are not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallet. You are not your fucking khakis. You are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world. The first rule of CULT is you talk about CULT. We are almost all oppressed in this society. That doesn't take away that some are much more oppressed than others. But rather than rise up, we argue between ourselves about who is more oppressed. You can't stand up for this. Why? Because of that. You are talking from a position of privilege? Who are you to speak for X? We are all prostitutes, whether we sell what's between our legs or what's between our ears. There is only one winner, and that is the oppressor. What measures are in place to ensure that my crypto is protected? Our contracts and token are and is fully audited, liquidity is locked, the keys burnt and the contracts non-upgradable. What is decentralized venture capitalism? The purpose of CULT is to empower and fund those building and contributing towards our decentralized future. Our society is built to make it as difficult as possible to break away from societal, economic, and other norms. We give funding to those who are ready to break the chains and have an idea that can change our world. What is a DAO? A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, the definition of which is argued almost as much, and by almost as many, who squabble between themselves in left-wing politics. A DAO in its purest form is what we have created with CULT DAO. Once CULT DAO launches, it will function forevermore with no human interference beyond what has been coded for it to be influenced by, which is votes from its holders. Nobody can dismantle the code, and nobody can stop it collecting funds and sending them to those furthering our cause, as long as the token is traded and as long as people are passing proposals. CULT will live on. Who are the Guardians and how are they chosen? What is their purpose? The Guardians are the top 50 token holders. They are tasked with safeguarding which proposals are sent to the many to be voted upon. Due to their larger weighting and token share, they are not allowed to influence the proposals they bring before the many. They may champion the proposal as much as they please, but only their voice may influence others, not their wealth. Where does the money invested come from, and how does CULT staking work? Users interact and trade with the token as normal. 0.4% tax is taken, in the CULT token, on each transaction. This means almost all transactions should clear on standard DEX slippage settings. This tax is collected in CULT DAO's treasury and builds up to a USD value which matches the market value of 15.5 Ethereum. CULT can be staked for dCULT. The top 50 dCULT holders are the Guardians. All holders below the Guardians have voting rights, and these are the many. The Guardians are the only users who can put proposals before the DAO, but they cannot vote on them. These proposals must conform to all or the majority of these three criteria. Fight against centralization. Further the cause of decentralization. Directly benefit a noble cause. These proposals can be from anywhere. VCs, community members, politicians, anarchists, socialists, the right wing. As long as they conform to the guidance above, and it is a guardian who submits it, any proposal can be voted on by the many. A proposal must contain the total supply of the investee protocol token, the percentage of the total supply being offered in return for 13 Ethereum investment, the tokenomics, the audit of the token and any contracts if built, the burn and distribution plan. The burn and distribution plan is the vesting schedule for the investee protocol's token. For this example, let us use a fake protocol ABC DAO. The vesting schedule can be daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, but cannot be vested over longer than 18 months at the very maximum. Let's say ABC DAO promises 1.2% of its ABC token, vesting once a month for 12 months. On the repayment date, rather than sending the token of the investee protocol, like a normal VC-funded protocol would, the investee company instead swaps 0.1% of its supply, 1.2% over 12 months, of ABC for CULT. ABC DAO then sends half of the CULT to a burn wallet and the other half to the DAO, which is paid out to dCULT holders. If a proposal has been approved and the 15.5 CULT Ethereum value is hit, it will automatically send 13 Ethereum to the proposal wallet address provided and 2.5 Ethereum to a burn wallet. If a proposal is not approved, the CULT will continue to build up past the 15.5 Ethereum level, but will auto-send once a proposal is approved. Why can the Guardians submit proposals to the DAO but not vote on investment protocols? The power in people is stronger than the people in power. This cannot be forgotten. What type of decisions or investments will CULT stakers pass votes on? Will projects only be cryptocurrency or blockchain-based? We leave the decisions and the nature of the investee projects open to the Guardians and the many. We offer only our vision and guidance on what we created the protocol to be used for. Do I have to stake my CULT when an investment protocol is agreed upon, or can I decide not to stake? If you would like to vote, then you must be staked. You will also only receive rewards from the investee companies if you are staked. However, you do not need to be staked to benefit from CULT. Every transaction furthers the cause and every burn decreases the supply of the token, increasing the scarcity. What criteria must be observed for a DAO proposal to be eligible for submission? Our guidelines followed: fight against centralization, further the cause of decentralization, directly benefit a noble cause. And 1. The total supply of the investee protocol token. 2. The percentage of the total supply being offered in return for 13 Ethereum investment. 3. The tokenomics. 4. The audit of the token and any contracts if built. 5. The burn and distribution plan. What constitutes a noble cause in terms of investment? My fellow revolutionaries, liberation is a noble cause. We must fight to obtain it. What is a burning mechanism? Why do we burn 10K out of every 60K raised? We are not blind to the blockchain and crypto market's core attraction being the potential huge increases in price of a token picked by a user. We are also wise to the previous financial systems tricks to keep the many subdued, and this is why our burn system has been designed to make our economic model hyper-deflationary. Why do we offer full distribution in the form of 50% burning and 50% proportional redistribution? We, the many, who are for the people, put our faith in the people. We fund those willing to fight for our future and reward them with our gratitude, community support, and our trust. In turn, they sacrifice half of the tokens we have purchased from them and send them to a dead wallet. The other half are rewarded to the many for their contributions they have put forward for the cause by transacting in CULT. From the 50% redistributed to CULT stakers, users can then stake the CULT again into dCULT. What is the difference between CULT and dCULT, or what is dCULT? dCULT is the proof of stake token. It is non-transferable. Only the user who staked their CULT will benefit from dCULT. Owning a proportion of dCULT when profits are sent to the DAO allows you to claim your reward, which is paid hour in proportion to your dCULT ownership. Why is the investee token redistributed by converting it into CULT token? How will the rates of disbursement be agreed upon? The investee token is converted into CULT as it creates additional transactions, as well as additional buying pressure in the market. The rate of disbursement is offered by the investee protocol. A proposal can be brought about again once rejected, and so if the cause of the rejection is deemed to be due to an inadequate disbursement offer, the investee protocol can fix and make these amends.